Alright guys, so this is going to be the last video before I go on my trip, and then I'm hoping to do some filming on the way and a little bit of filming when I get there, and then of course I'm going to film the ride because it's going to be pretty good this year. I was taking a look at the tracks because there's, you know, the day 1 and day 2 tracks, Saturday and Sunday, and there is going to be a lot of off-road knobby sections on the first day. And what they mean by knobby, for those of you that may not ride a motorcycle, it just means having knobby tires on your motorcycle, because you're going to need them, you know, going through the mud and up the ruts and the hills and that kind of thing. A lot of creek crossings, so that's going to be pretty good. But anyway, today it's pretty chilly out. I mean, it's like 50 degrees or something out today, 55 degrees maybe, probably not even that. It's just been rainy and nasty the last couple days. I'm really glad I got everything I did get done on the van, and mainly I got everything done. I still wanted to kind of put up some of that reflective insulation back there all along the roof and the side, but really I don't know how I'm going to attach it yet. I really want to put it up there with tape and then cover over it with the plywood. That way you can't see it, but I don't want to do that before I put the plywood up because then it just looks crap. So anyway, today I did get the oil changed on the bike, so that's all done, and I just need to change the back tire because I got a brand new one to put on. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's awful chilly, but I think I might turn my torpedo heater on just because, you know, cold hands and metal is not good. So I've got my propane tank out here because my smoker is currently stored in here. So I'm going to hook that up and try to blast the garage and get it warmed up, and it should do a pretty good job real quick. This is about, man, 2 to 3 times the size of my last garage that it heated, but the last garage, it would just heat it up instantly in wintertime, you know, snow on the ground. It would be like 5 or 10 minutes of running that thing and it'd be really warm. So I'll let you take a look at the van because it's pretty well packed. I mean, I need to throw my book bag in there with all my clothes and stuff in it. But for the most part, it's packed. And I got to throw my cooler in there because I actually, my cooler that I've used the last couple of years was the one about that size and had a flip lid. It really got busted because I left it outside, and the you know, the UV from the sunlight really made it brittle. So I ended up throwing that away before I moved, but I was gonna go buy one. But I went to Goodwill and they had this one for $3, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no stains on it. It was probably barely used and somebody just donated. So for $3, I'll have that one. I really like to eventually get one that'll keep ice for a long time. This one will be good for just the 2 days I'm going on. But it's a small one that I can just kind of put in there and have a little bit of ice, and I'm going to take some meat and stuff. I'll probably cook some hamburgers or something at night, and probably take a steak with me because I like cooking steak over the fire, or I might just cook it over just my normal propane stove that I got. I'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but you know, got to cook something. It's always fun cooking when you're camping. So anyway, we're going to take a quick look at the van, and I'll let you see what it looks like. Pretty well packed up for my trip. I still need to put my hitch on the back to hold the motorcycle. Then once that's on, I'll just pretty much be loading the motorcycle and going because, yeah, we're ready. All right, so looking at the van from the back, you can see I did get a little rug in here. Those are like $6 at Walmart, so you couldn't beat that. If I ended up getting it all dirty, I can just throw it out. But that kind of gives me something to put my feet on that's not the rubber. I kind of want another one for up there just because, but I may not do that. I don't know. Other than that, I've got a couple pillows up there. Got my blanket, got my laptop sitting there on that blanket. I'll probably put that under the blanket when I drive just so it doesn't go anywhere. I got my big Carhartt back here, got my riding suit, got my Camelback. This is my bag that goes into the rear rack of my bike that I can haul stuff in when I'm riding for the day. Got my deodorant, toothbrush in there. I got some fire starter. I got to pick up some wood because normally I put a tarp right here, put the wood in, and then wrap it. Kentucky doesn't have any bans on bringing wood from anywhere else. A lot of states do, like Missouri. You can't bring wood from anywhere but Missouri. It has to be local bought because of pests and stuff they don't want getting around here. But Kentucky doesn't have anything like that, so I don't know where I'm going to get wood yet. I just figured, you know, once I get down around some campgrounds, or if I see some on the way, I'll just pick it up. But I imagine I'll end up buying it in Kentucky anyway. So I got an extra pair of shoes to wear around camp. I also got some sandals, but it'll probably be too cold for that because I normally take sandals on my trip. Just something quick. It's easy. It's light. Of course, all my normal camping gear into there. Really, I just carry like, I mean, I got so much space that I carry like my hammock under there. I got my camp chair. I got a camp table under there. I've got a bag over there with like some spices and stuff in it. Let's see. And then I've actually got a small sleeping bag here. This is just a small 40-degree bag that you can use. And then I've got another one, a big one over there that, you know, if it gets real cold, I can use that. But typically when I've got, because I'm actually going to be using this electric heater like I normally do, since I'll be plugged into power at the campground. I'm just going to use this electric heater, and it's got a thermostat and everything on it. It swivels. It's really nice. But typically when I use that heater in the van, all I need is my blanket right there, and that's just like a plush queen size blanket there, and that's typically all I need. On this side, I'll have to fill this with water still. It's still empty. I plan on doing that today just so it's full and I don't gotta mess with it. Got my extension cord to plug the van into the power at the campground when I get there. I don't know what kind of plug they'll have. I imagine they'll have the 15 amp outlets, but if not, I picked up an adapter for $5. That'll adapt me to 30 amp into my 15 amp, and then I plug my extension cord into this and then the extension cord into the van. That way I have that. But typically they have, you know, an outlet with just the 15 amp for a regular plug. Up in here I actually don't keep this up. I just kind of threw it in there so I wouldn't have it laying out, but that's my coffee. These are just tea bags from Folgers. Really great for traveling. Just boil your water, drop the tea bag in. It's just as good as coffee, and you don't have that instant stuff. I really don't like instant. I like just coffee, actual coffee grounds, you know, with I got my first aid kit. This goes with me on the bike. This has like just about typical stuff. You wouldn't want to get hurt too bad with this, but it's just basic stuff. Insect bites, cuts, scrapes, bruises, cold compresses in there for things. I carry some Aleve and Tylenol in there, that way, you know, because you can get a headache on a bike real easy. I've got a little extension cord that's got 4 USB outlets in it, plus it's got a normal outlet if I need to plug something in a little closer to me. Got my tripod for this camera that I'm using now. I got some gloves in there, like 3 different sets of gloves. I got rain gloves that are really warm. I've got rain gloves that are lighter rain gloves, and then I've got just regular summer riding gloves that aren't waterproof. I've got this light here that plugs in, and it's got about a 15-foot cord on it, and I can drag that outside if I need light outside. I've got a couple extra tubes over there, one for the front, one for the rear. Those are just basically extra tubes, because on my bike I carry one 21-inch front tube that works for the front and the rear. Even though the rear tire on the motorcycle is 18, you can actually shove a 21 in there and you'll get by with that just fine. You wouldn't want to take it down the interstate. It'd probably demolish that tube pretty quickly, but just for normal riding, it's great. So like I said, I got my blanket, got these pillows. I got a couple of these. Well, actually, I ordered 2 of them. They only sent me 1 case, so then I told them to send me another one. They ended up sending me another one with 2 in it, and then sent me 1 more a while later. So I actually got 4 of these for like $7 of these cases, and then I stuffed them myself. But since I got 4 of them, I thought 2 of them could go in the van, and I could use those to sleep on. They're really great. Because normally I just bring my typical pillows off my bed. I do have camp pillows, but why use camp pillows when you can use real pillows in here, you know? Then, like I said, my blanket, my laptop's there. I got that backpack. That's got my work paperwork in it, so that's going to come out, because that's just like what I call my briefcase. Anything that I get from work, about work, for work, goes in there. That way I know where it's at. I just kind of have that in there, but that'll come out. Even though I really don't carry it around, it just stays in the van, but that way I can keep everything organized and not deal with it. So I'm going to be taking this. I've never used this yet. I just picked it up. It was brand new, even though it's from like late 80s, early 90s probably. It's just a Sears Pack-A-Potty 6. Like, I guess they had models, and this is number 6. So this is great, you know, if you don't want to get out of the vehicle, if it's really cold at night, you don't want to get out, and you can use this. I don't know if I'm going to actually fill it up. But I got this stuff that kind of, it's like a deodorizer. You pour it in your holding tank. I think I'll have to look at it. Either goes in the, yeah, I think it goes in your holding tank, and then when you flush, it goes in your other tank, of course, with the waste, and it keeps anything from smelling up. So this is just like an emergency thing, but I also got bags in here. That way, you know, if it's an emergency and I didn't fill it, I can do whatever. So I don't know if I'll fill it, but I might, because I've never used it. It'd be kind of interesting. But you know, it's kind of cool. It's really small, really light. It comes apart. You've got your waste part that comes out, and you can take it to your dumping station at your campground or wherever you're at and dump it. And that's pretty cool, and it's real small. So I figured I'd bring that with me. That way, you know, I think it's going to be like, man, 30-degree nights or so. So that will be nice not to have to get out of the van, and I can, if I need to use the bathroom, I can use the bathroom. So under there, I've got all my stuff. Got my cook stove over there, got my other stuff, batteries, my fan. I've got some other things in there, just all kinds of cooking stuff that I might need, silverware, the butane stove, just about, you know, everything I'm going to need is packed in here now. And yeah, and then up front, since this stuff's kind of just would be in the way back there, I just got my riding boots up here, and this, I may end up putting my riding gear up here, I don't know yet, but I'll just see how it goes when I start getting ready to go, because today is Wednesday and I will be leaving on Friday, probably mid to early morning. That way I can get down there and get set up, and then I really want to take my time on the way down there, because I like to kind of thrift shop, because as you know, if you've watched my videos, I collect vintage computer stuff. So there's quite a few Goodwills on the way. I'm planning on just kind of stopping and checking them out, you know, taking my time, going through Louisville, is it Kentucky or is it Indianapolis? I don't know, one of the two. But yeah, so it'll be kind of a big place to go through. It'll be kind of neat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this rear tire changed out, and yeah, just thought I'd let you take a look at the van. It's looking really comfy in there right now, so I'm pretty stoked for that. A lot more comfy than it's been on past trips I've taken, especially with the rug in there and everything. So it's gonna be pretty cool, and the cabinet all finished and the TV. So it's definitely going to be cool, because normally I used to watch stuff on a laptop, you know, and now I can actually just watch stuff on the computer and then use my laptop just for browsing the internet, you know, kind of like I do at home, and that'll be pretty nice. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video, and hopefully the next video you'll see will be my riding video. Actually, it'll probably be just my trip down there, possibly, and then it'll be the riding videos uploaded after that. Typically on a 2-day ride I do 2 separate videos, one for each day. So depending on how good the riding is, there'll probably just be one for each day. Sometimes they get into 2 parts for each day, but yeah. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.